Hello everyone, we are Nerds in a Box. I'm John Dwyer.
I'm Dan Kiefer.
Tessa Barlotta.
And we're here presenting our 11th episode.
11.
Yeah.
Lucky number.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Or is it 13?
I'm pretty
It's
sure
11.
it's 11.
I think it's 11.
It's
I always
11.
get those two mixed up.
Mhm.
Or is it unlucky number 13?
It's unlucky number 13.
See, there we go. There's my problem.
Yeah.
I think
Sorry.
we're just trying to give you a bad name right now.
Oh, good. That's fantastic.
Yeah. Alright, so...
Sorry, John.
I'm going to explain what's happening. This is our Halloween costume.
Woo!
Hello!
Hi.
To our
Hi.
belated Halloween episode.
Yes.
So,
Slightly.
Slightly.
A little bit.
Yes, this is what happens
It's
when
my favorite part of
my
tonight.
hair goes
Yep.
away on my face.
Mhm.
So sad.
So, Tessa drew a beard on my face. So,
Oh yeah, for those of you who are listening via SoundCloud, check out our video just this once especially.
Yeah.
Because, well, we're all dressed up as each other. And
Yep.
I actually had to shave half my beard. It was quite depressing.
He was
But
really
it'll
sick.
okay. It'll actually start to come back by next week, so don't worry.
next week it'll grow back within 2 days.
I'm just saying for the next episode it'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, that's true.
Oh.
You can go on, John.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's gonna bother the heck.
Take it from
Can we
here.
can we not do that for the entire episode?
I mean, I'm fine either way. If you don't
Okay.
want to do that, then we can totally.
I just know you're gonna be like, go ahead, Dan, and then like John's gonna start answering. I'll be like, oh, ooh, wait, not me. Okay.
Yep.
Alright, Tessa, we'll switch up the program.
Oh no.
Okay. So anyway, today is about... I would do a drum roll, but I can't because I'm not me right now. Marvel Phase 3!
Woo!
So Marvel pretty much released all their films up to like the beginning
2019.
of 2019.
Mhm.
Oh,
Well,
man.
this was definitely a really good retort to DC's like, here's our slate. Marvel's like, okay, here's ours. And everybody freaked out. Don't get me wrong, everybody was excited about the DC
Oh, yeah.
one. But because Marvel has this long-standing, like, for lack of a better word, this long-standing relationship with us and their movies, we understand that these are quality movies. We understand what we're supposed to be looking forward to. This is DC's yet another attempt at making a Justice League movie.
Marvel also made a huge press conference out of it. Like, it was
yeah.
huge. DC announced theirs, but Marvel had Robert Downey Jr., they had Chris Evans, and they had Chadwick Boseman, the new Black Panther. Marvel is like, alright, here we go. We have Black Panther, we have a person of color movie, and then we have a female-led movie with Captain Marvel. It is the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel, I should say.
They're
So-
skipping Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're skipping Miss Marvel. It's going to be awesome. The top two candidates I've heard that everybody wants is Katie Sackhoff and then Yvonne Strahovski. And then a close third is actually Emily Blunt.
So currently, Marvel Phase 3, we have Ant-Man with Paul Rudd and
Michael Douglas.
that one. And that's November
That is, I believe it's November, yeah.
of next year.
Excuse me, Ant-Man is actually coming out July 17th.
That's right, they
Oh.
bumped it up.
We'll see what happens, because it's interesting to note that right now there's no Ant-Man 2. Granted, it's coming out next year,
Yeah.
but, you know, we'll see what happens. But no Ant-Man 2 just yet.
And I feel like as we go along, there's going to be less 2, 3, 4 films
I can
because
see that.
they're not like the main characters, and also like as we keep introducing everybody else's favorites into this universe, there's just going to be not enough room. Like
Yeah.
it's just going to be complete deluge overload. So instead of doing that, they'll have like kind of what they did with Captain America 2, where
Yeah.
we didn't get a Black Widow movie, but Black Widow was a humongous part. Also, Falcon was a great
Yeah.
part of that too.
Well, the big news is that Black Panther, not only was he cast, he's going to have a huge part in Captain America 3 Civil War, which they officially announced they're doing the Civil War storyline. They originally teased it as Serpent Society, but that was just
Them messing
that was a
with us.
misdirection. So it's officially Civil War. According to Kevin Feige in the press conference afterwards, it's global registration is going to be the main thing, the main theme of it, and there's going to be a specific citing incident for it. But he also said it's going to be very different from the comics because, in case you didn't know, secret identities in the Marvel Cinematic Universe don't really matter.
It's more work for the government or you're a vigilante and we need to get you.
Yeah, so
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and also if you don't know who Chadwick Boseman is, go watch 42, which is the movie about Jackie Robinson, or he was in the James Brown. He was James Brown in that new movie that I'm not remembering what the
hang
name is.
on.
But I saw 42 and he's brilliant and amazing, and I've heard James Brown movie is fantastic. So
Get on up.
Get on up.
Yep.
It's great. Go
So-
watch it.
So do we want to go movie by movie?
Yes.
All
let
right.
us go.
So first one is Ant-Man, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm taking over your job, John.
No, it's okay. It's okay, Dan, but you need to calm down.
All
You need
right,
to calm
sorry.
down. But yeah, so like Ant-Man, Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, we're excited.
Mhm.
It's
It's
awesome.
the Scott Lang version.
Yes, which
Yeah,
is
Scott
great,
Lang.
because Hank Pym has jerk problems.
Mhm.
Well, it's supposed to be a heist movie, which
Yeah.
is great because Scott Lang, the reason why he gets caught is because he steals Ant-Man's uniform to go steal money for his daughter.
Yeah, which I'm super excited about, and I'm
Oh my
like,
God.
I feel like Marvel's trying to branch out into different genres of movies instead of just like, here's a superhero movie. Like,
Yeah.
they're doing that. Cap 2 was a political thriller.
Yeah.
Turned into a political movie, and if they're trying to do like some kind of heist movie with Ant-Man, that could be really cool.
So yes, Ant-Man's gonna be awesome. Cap 3, Civil War. Wow.
There's just gonna be so much depth in that.
so much depth.
I trust them. I trust them
Oh,
to do
yeah.
this, especially if they're not making it like how it is in the comic books necessarily,
Oh, yeah.
because the whole thing with the comic books is that there's a lot of superheroes, and if
Mm-hmm.
they're doing it on a smaller scale in that sense, I think it'll work a lot better.
As much as the Civil War really pronounces all of their superheroes,
Mm-hmm.
they've already like shown a whole bunch of superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if they're gonna be like doing like if they've cast other characters, like if they've already cast Doctor Strange, if they've already cast Captain Marvel,
Mm-hmm.
if they've already cast these like super.
They already did
like,
cast Doctor Strange.
right.
Yeah.
But like these super like C-list characters as well, have them like in as cameos, being
Mm-hmm.
like these are superheroes in this. Because like if they're C-list, people don't necessarily care if they get the real movie.
Yeah.
Like if they had Civil War and like Cloak and Dagger were in it, I would freak out. People would be like, "Oh look, superheroes that need to register," and I'd be like, "Ah!"
I also love that they have enough faith in Captain America movies that they're like, the Cap movies are where we're going to destroy the entire reality of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Poor
Can't
Cap,
you
he cannot catch a break.
No.
No. So there's that, and then there's Doctor Strange, which
Yep.
is now officially Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yep.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'm excited just to hear him say spells in that beautiful voice of his. 'Cause
Yeah.
I feel like that alone would be terrifying.
And
Like,
I
if you
just-
hear him like curse
yeah.
you, just okay.
And he has the
Love it.
eyes too, like because Doctor
Oh.
Strange is very internal, very. I don't want to say brooding,
But he's just kind of like stoic on the outside, but on the inside, like
You
his
know
brain
that-
is raging.
and especially
Yeah.
with Sherlock, like what Benedict Cumberbatch did with Sherlock, you can see the gears grinding in his head whenever anything happens. And that's very similar to what he has to do as the Sorcerer
Oh, yeah.
Supreme.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is definitely going to be like where we had Guardians of the Galaxy introduce us to the cosmic side of Marvel. This is going to introduce us to the more supernatural side of Marvel, and I think this is going to be really interesting. And I would not be surprised if they actually went after Benedict Cumberbatch because they know that the supernatural side of Marvel, for obvious reasons, is weird.
It's gonna
And
be
they
harder to
wanted
carry
a
off.
familiar face to get people to watch it.
And then next is Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which we've already
They
postulated all
pushed up,
stuff
actually.
on that.
Yeah.
The important thing about that, it got pushed up from August to May. So they pushed it up
Probably
3
because it's
months.
doing crazy well.
3 months.
Because it shows how much faith they have in it. To
Oh, yeah.
start off their year of
Yep.
movies.
And like we said before, that's not the only one that they've pushed up.
Mm-hmm.
They've pushed up a lot of these. They're just like announcing, it's like, you know, we got a script, we can make this work. Let's do this, guys.
Well, the thing is that Thor is actually coming out in May now. And Thor 1 and 2 have both come out in November.
Well, isn't Thor in July?
Or it's Thor in July?
Thor's July.
Okay,
Yeah.
excuse me. So Thor's coming out in July, but the point is that it came out in November. The first two did, like relatively on the same day, if not around the same day in November. So I'm interested if they saw how well it did and was like, we can push that up, that'll do really well, then we'll usher into Thor Ragnarok, and then we can bring in a new franchise here for this. And so they brought in Black Panther.
And what's interesting about moving on to Thor Ragnarok is it's supposed to happen like immediately after Avengers 2.
It's supposed to happen immediately
But it's like
after
a
Age of
whole, what,
Ultron.
Year, 2 years? It's 2 years, isn't
After
it?
what? Oh, excuse
After
me.
Avengers 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because
Thor.
it's 2017.
Yeah. So 2 years after Age of Ultron, but the storyline takes place immediately after, which is funny
It's going to be crazy.
because Idris Elba today came out and said that Heimdall and Loki both have a part in Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, which is interesting because, in case you didn't hear this, Joss Whedon and Tom Hiddleston
We're swearing up and down. They were
both
in this
said
movie.
that no, like, Loki is not in the movie. So the speculation is that they are in the movie in a sense, is that they're going to be the teaser for it, because if Ragnarok's taking place immediately after Avengers 2, then they're going to have that lead into Thor Ragnarok.
So do you think every single one of these movies is going to be an after effect of what happens? So they're basically just going from location to location, showing the effects of what Age of Ultron has done to everyone?
I really hope so, actually.
I can see that. So Thor is going to be interesting. I would not be surprised if Civil War came because of Age of Ultron, because of Tony Stark.
Making his own weapons.
Because of Tony Stark creating Ultron, it goes poorly, and then I would not be surprised if he's in that, because they call for that, and then he's like, I need to make this right, I need to do this.
So that's why he pushes to be with the government.
Maybe that's why he pushes to be with the government, so
so
that
guilty.
he feels so guilty and he can get back in the public's good eye, and Captain America's like, no. So it wouldn't be surprising if that's how it happened. I'm interested to see how that ties into it, because I think we mentioned this last week with the Avengers trailer. We see that Cap Shield is potentially broken. We don't know if that's a flash, or if that's a hallucination, or if that actually happens. But Wakanda,
Black Panther.
that leads perfectly into Black Panther, which is also in 2017.
Yeah.
And if Black Panther has a huge role in Civil War, maybe he'll be on Cap's side. We don't know whose side he'll be on. If his shield is broken, he needs to get more vibranium, which Wakanda has plenty of.
Because they mine vibranium. Like,
Yep.
That's what Wakanda was created for.
And Kevin Feige said that the Black Panther movie is all about Wakanda having to pull out of the shadows for the first time. So that's kind of a really cool thing, because we'll get to see this whole world emerge into our own.
Yeah.
And that could just be crazy cool in all kinds of ways.
Oh yeah.
Now we're just waiting for Latveria.
Well,
No,
we're going to
we
be waiting
can't,
a while.
'cause
for
I
that.
know. I said waiting. I said waiting.
We'll
Yeah,
see
we're
it.
waiting along with
We'll
Spider-Man.
see it, just not in the same universe.
Yeah.
And then interesting thing after that is Infinity War, which actually happens before Captain Marvel,
Yeah.
which is also like, first of all, when is Carol Danvers going to enter any of this? And then
I mean,
does something happen in Infinity War to make Carol Danvers Captain Marvel? Is that going to happen in Infinity War or in an earlier movie?
What Captain Marvel version do you think this is going to go off of? Like, do you think it's going to go off of the recent
No.
Captain Marvel run, or do you think it's going to go off the...
I think it's going to be its
Older
own
one.
deal.
I'm glad you had that. Just be like, hey.
It worked out so perfectly. I did not plan that, but it worked out so well.
Because Captain Marvel was started, like, Carol Danvers as Captain Marvel was started in 2012, and all the stuff had already happened to her, and it's just a very different journey. It's of her taking the dead Captain Marvel's name and moving on with that. So it's just a very, very different story. So I feel like they would just take the Miss Marvel storyline and would just
Change the name.
change the name and change the costume.
Yeah.
So that she's Captain Marvel. I feel like just to save time and confusion, because there's really no point in introducing. Like, they might throw in like a name drop of Marvel somewhere. Like maybe he is in there for like a hot second and he saves her life or something, or does something.
Maybe
where she
he's
takes
what
his
gives her
name.
the powers.
True. Or like he dies trying to save her, and then powers are transferred, and that's why she names herself Marvel.
Get a little bit of a Green Lantern action in there.
Yeah. actually, exactly, pretty much.
Well, and going back to Infinity War,
Yes.
Infinity War is interesting because in case you didn't hear about this or you didn't see the footage, they actually showed, like, what was it? It was like a 10-second footage of, it was recapping some of the Infinity Stones. We got official confirmation that Loki's staff is an Infinity Stone, and then it pulls back and it's the gauntlet, and it pulls back and Thanos is there and he's holding it. So he got them somehow. We don't know how, but he got them. And so it's all going to be about that, the Infinity Gauntlet. We don't know what else, but we know that it's going to have the gauntlet in there. And that one's going to be cool because everyone's been hoping for that ever since they teased him at the end of Avengers 1.
Why this timeline? Why set up the movies like this? Like, what is going to happen that makes this make sense?
I don't know, Tessa.
Because that's all I want to know is, like, why they made this decision. Like, and I want to know now instead of 5 years in the future.
Or maybe they might it might be something where he gets all the stones, but they're able to like force him into the negative zone or something,
That's true.
and so they have some time off to do Captain Marvel and Inhumans, and then he breaks back in.
Especially if Doctor Strange is in the group.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, Kevin Feige has stated that they may go away from origin films, so it may very well be that Captain Marvel and Inhumans may not be origin films. It could be that they're already introduced, and they're actually, at least Captain Marvel, maybe sent on a mission. Maybe she's sent on a mission to find the Guardians or something. I don't know.
That would be great.
Maybe that's part of what she has to do. We don't know how the Inhumans are going to play and do this, but maybe there's some plan for that.
Maybe Captain Marvel is sent to the Inhumans.
That would be great too.
What are we going to do with the Inhumans? We don't know how they're going to put into effect. We don't know. We need to establish who Black Bolt is. The popular rumors that
Vin
it is going to
Diesel.
be Vin Diesel.
I really hope it is.
That'd be hilarious.
Which would be interesting, because I think you said this a few episodes ago, Dan, is that they would pay him to say 3 words and then also pay him not to talk.
Yep.
Well, he's also like, I think Vin Diesel does so much better with his physical acting than he does with his words. Like when you actually see his face talking, like it's for some reason it's just not as believable as like his regular voice acting, like for Groot or Iron Giant.
But
like
Iron Giant.
Iron Giant. But like just his physicality, like, cause he did all the motion capture for Groot, and that stuff was amazing. So I
That's
feel like
really good,
if
yeah.
he can transfer even like half of that over into an Inhumans movie, it would be totally fine.
And he has a Black Bolt look.
He does.
Like,
Yeah.
he really, really does.
He can pull off that stoic, I'm going to sit in the chair and not talk to anybody, and still be terrifying, so nobody wants to mess with him.
But see,
deal.
I don't know, the Inhumans is just, that'd be so difficult for them to do. I'd love to see how they would try and pull off Medusa.
Yeah.
I
don't...
Give me aliens, give me trees, give me raccoons.
I can't handle the crazy hair.
Having somebody with ridiculous hair like Medusa, I feel like that's more unbelievable than a talking raccoon on 2 legs.
We haven't talked about in this that isn't actually mentioned. Marvel announced a Hawkeye solo film that's not located
Oh, hey.
in this.
Black Widow also isn't located in there
Yeah.
either, even though it's technically announced on IMDb. But it's
But
also...
IMDb had to take it like a grain of salt, but like the Hawkeye one has been announced, and it's not there. So I believe I was talking to you about this, and you were saying that they may be doing the mini, or like the
smaller movies.
the smaller movies, and they're going to announce those at separate times. And these are just like the huge ones.
Yeah, this is like this is the main through line of Phase 3, but they might have, kind of like what they do in the comic books, where they have like
Events.
the main Avengers comics and the events that connect everything, but then you have the side comics, like the Hawkeye comic, which is his own little, which is
That's what they're
actually
basing
based
it
on
off.
live action.
Pizza Dog.
So-
I want to see Pizza Dog.
Just kind of like a day in the life of.
Exactly. So it might just be like, here's a side mission where Hawkeye just went off and did whatever the hell he wanted while everyone was freaking out about the Civil War.
How funny would it be if it was just a normal movie about Hawkeye having like a day-to-day like life? Just be like,
Just a day in the life
that's
of
what it's
Hawkeye.
called, a day in the life of Hawkeye.
While strolling down the street with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, just like a normal day.
That's essentially what it is in his comic. Is like
Oh, that's why I think it'd be hilarious.
it
as a movie.
literally opens up with him talking about like, gee, I wish I could fly right now. He's like falling out a window. That's so
I'm
much.
so scared of superhero fatigue. Like, I'm so scared of it. I hope everything's good.
Everybody wonders when
Everything's
that
good.
bubble's gonna burst, and it could.
It could be the year with 10 movies, or we're just like, it's also one of those things too, where you have 9 billion action movies, you have 9 billion spy movies. This might just be a new existing genre,
True.
because the movie business is always expanding and always changing, and the comic universe is so ridiculously expansive now that you could tap into this stuff literally forever. If we ever get into like indie comics, we'll be here till the end of time.
Oh, and they have been.
So
There
here
was
and there.
John Cherubino, who was going to be with us today. He's going to be with us next week. He was telling me about the comic that I started reading, Lock and Key. Or not Lock and Key. Yeah, Lock and Key.
Yeah, Lock and Key. And they're going to have like a movie trilogy, right?
Exactly. And that's an indie movie. That's a huge indie movie.
So like indie book, yeah. But so it might just be we're witnessing a new genre come into play, where the superhero section will be its own section at movie stop now.
And then when we're like parents, like down the road, our kids are gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna go to the superhero movie aisle." I'm like, "The wait, what?" Yeah,
What
yeah,
you
you know, the superhero movie aisle. It's like, I remember when that was first created.
Oh god.
I remember when Blade
Oh
was
my
the first Marvel movie.
I saw Blade in theaters.
Oh.
I hope you didn't.
Trinity.
No, okay.
Oh my
Oh, I
god.
guess Blade wasn't the first Marvel movie.
Oh no.
We've got
we got
the
old.
Well,
first
no,
major
The
Marvel
first
movie.
one that was actually good.
On that note, have a great night, everyone. I'm John Dwyer.
Dan Kiefer.
Tessa Barlotta.
We're Nerds in a Box. Have a great night, everyone. Take care.